Thanks for tuning in to PopCon, everybody, powered by Gen X. That's me, Victor. And on tonight's episode, a tour to see the stars. I've seen dozens and dozens of celebrities in Disney World theme parks, and they're not even incognito. As a matter of fact, I see them over and over and over and over again. I bet if you've been there in the last 30 years, you've seen the same ones too. All right, so let's check out celebrities in plain sight at Disney World. Starting with the least amount of star power, let's begin at the youngest of the Disney World theme parks, Animal Kingdom. Crossing into Dinoland, USA, we head to Countdown to Extinction. To you youngins, that would be Dinosaur. It opened as Countdown to Extinction, and that is when I first saw these two performing the roles of Dr. Marsh and Dr. Grant Seeker. One heck of a paleontologist. You should all recognize Felicia Rashad and her brooch as big as a stegosaur fossil, at least as the matriarch of The Cosby Show, if not many, many more performances. She welcomes us to Dino Institute before being carjacked by Dr. Grant. No, not that Grant. Wallace Langham played the clever time-traveling opportunist who can't come along for the ride. You may have recognized him in Veronica's Closet with the recently departed Kirstie Alley, and in the famous TV show CSI. By the way, you do not hear the first name of his dinosaur character in the finished attraction, as written by Walt Disney Imagineering. Jurassic Park's own Dr. Grant was now a huge icon, and confusion was not required. Now let's head to another kingdom, the mother of all kingdoms, to find the stars. But not the stars you may think of when thinking of Fantasyland. Remember, we're looking for celebrities playing a role, not themselves, and we are leaving voiceovers out, as that's a topic for a whole other show. So let's find some classic celebrities performing for us in Tomorrowland. Or at least they used to, in the troubled extraterrestrial alien encounter. Entering the exhibit center, we saw a demonstration from XS Tech, a galactic neighbor long before the Xandarians, who want to share their version of capitalism that rivals our very own. Our hostess with the surprise profile is none other than the supermodel Tyra Banks. Look at her work it, go girl! In the main teleportation area where one poor sap just isn't gonna make it, Kathy Najimy and Kevin Pollak are the put-upon scientist pair, Dr. Femus and Spinlock. Micromanaging a tight ship is the one and only Principal Rooney from Ferris Bueller and Mr. Deeds of Beetlejuice. Jeffrey Jones is Chairman Clench. Rest in peace, Alien Encounter, and I'm not even mentioning its follow-up, Stitch's Great Escape. It all just sits there, empty, vacant, a void, a perfect location for a new, exciting 21st century attraction. We'll just keep hoping. Moving on, we have to make time for and go back in time to Disney MGM Studios, Walt Disney World's third theme park. Long before having a legal name change, the park about TV and movie production was chock full of big stars. Often playing themselves, you could see the likes of Mel Gibson and Pee Wee Herman during the soundstage tour. But you could also meet this mega diva in a short film made entirely at the Disney MGM Studios, called The Lottery. Here, a struggling piano teacher, played by Bette Midler, goes through hell and back in New York, or New York Street for that matter, to get her winning a lottery ticket. It was a joyful little romp that you all should find and watch yourself. Unfortunately, this went the way of the dodo when, with various changes to the backlot and special effects production tours, the evolution finally took the studio out of the Disney MGM Studios. But nearby, at another opening attraction, the Monster Sound Show, a sound effects demo with guest involvement, a very common 80s and 90s theme park trope, played out in the Sony Theater, starring a creepy butler played by Martin Short, who makes short work of traveling salesmen, like Chevy Chase, the insurance man who ends up being the foil to Martin's madcap character. And finally, and you can fight me on this one, is Robin. Yes, Robin Williams plays Robin. However, he makes it on the list because we cannot guarantee he's playing himself. Being interviewed by the great Walter Cronkite for the attraction, you'd think Walter would recognize the great comedian Robin Williams. So, for our little star hunting safari, this is Robin Williams playing Robin the tourist turned one of Peter Pan's Lost Boys in the Magic of Disney Animation Tour attraction. Just seeing scenes like this brings back such pleasant memories of the golden age of the Disney MGM Studios' early years. And if you didn't know, the genie's final look in the classic animated film Aladdin is an homage to Robin's character's attire from this retired studio gem. But if you want to visit the Watering Hole of Stars at a Disney theme park, you're going to have to skip the Brown Derby, and we must move on for a visit to Epcot Center through the last 30 years. As I said, these stars have been there in plain sight, playing characters that have entertained us on a loop in current and extinct attractions that have made Epcot's history what it is. Epcot is full of sparkling Hollywood royalty, past and present, so where should we start? How about the Wonders of Life? That abandoned gold dome that keeps promising a new attraction was a treasure trove of 80s and 90s stars we can all look back fondly on, and how they entertained us. Speaking of entertaining, this pavilion had it all. And although Martin Short was at it again, he had a sensitive appearance in the Making of Me, a How Babies Are Made attraction. No, I'm not kidding. But he played himself. But it was Body Wars and Cranium Command in the same dome that showed no shortage of star power. Powering up Body Wars was a trip through inner space directed by Leonard Nimoy. Both Tim Matheson and Elizabeth Shue starred in Body Wars and were the miniaturized crew taking us on a nauseatingly good time through veins and capillaries, lungs and blood cells to get us out in time. Thank God we didn't travel through the colon. Elizabeth and Tim both had fantastic careers and were very recognizable. Dakin Matthews may not be as recognizable, but was in various bit parts throughout his career and reoccurring characters, even on the likes of Star Trek and the Gilmore Girls. Right next door, pilot a brain of the 12-year-old boy in Cranium Command. Pandemonium is top of mind in this insane multimedia attraction featuring Charles Grodin as the left brain. Charles Grodin was in tons of fantastic movies, some of my favorite with Goldie Hawn and the Muppets. Bobcat Goldthwait as the adrenal gland, which is perfect for this crazy-ass comedian and actor in movies with stars like Whoopi Goldberg. John Lovitz, the comedian and SNL actor, was the right brain. Jeff Duchetti was the bladder. You may know him from Newhart's early seasons. Kevin Nealon and Dana Carvey, both SNL veterans, played the left and right ventricle, a pumped-up version of Hans and Franz from SNL. George Wendt of Cheers fame was the stomach. And finally, Kenneth Kimmons actually played Principal Hardcase in that film in the attraction, who's most notable for the 90s show Coach.
Illumination, give me a reading.
Ladder reading at 9.9, sir.
We can hold it full speed ahead.
I think we can be a little lenient here. Why don't you just help the janitor clean up the cafeteria after school?
Hey everybody, Victor here. Pardon the interruption, but thank you for coming to PopCon, your connection to pop culture, but most of the 80s. If you're enjoying this at all, show me some love, give me a like, and please click the subscribe. It would really help out. Thanks. And now, on with the show. Lest we forget another attraction there in Future World East, Mission Space, that used to be the home to Horizons. This is where Lieutenant Dan lives, or should I say Gary Sinise. In the first incarnation of Mission Space, Gary Sinise was our Capcom.
Welcome to the International Space Training Center. You're here today to train for the greatest adventure in the history of mankind, the exploration of deep space.
And it made a lot of sense since he had starred in a recent movie, not the greatest, Mission to Mars. Now, we won't stop there. After the rehab of the original Universe of Energy, Ellen moved in, and although you can't assume she plays herself, like Robin, she's gonna get a pass. She's Ellen. Just Ellen, I guess, and she goes on a dream Jeopardy, starring Alex Trebek, here completely just playing his remarkably memorable self. But Ellen has to play her old roommate in college, Judy Peterson, a professor of energy, and played by the legend, Jamie Lee Curtis. But Ellen could care less about her roommate or all the powered-up categories in her Nightmare Home version of the game by stating proudly,
"Stupid Judy, stupid energy."
It's not over yet. Head to Future World West, and once again, we afford to give Patrick a pass, as we are not sure if he's playing Patrick Warburton or Patrick the flight attendant on Soarin'. So we might just throw him in the mix as the most recognizable star hiding out in plain sight at Epcot. But wait, there's more! It is next door to the Land Pavilion where the magical grand finale awaits and the power of song can save the universe. But first, you must ride through the third incarnation of the original attraction, Journey into Imagination. You will walk out either petrified of the moon-faced Eric Idle at the end of the ride, or smile seeing one of your favorite funny men from the famous Monty Python, having a jolly good time with Epcot's favorite purple dragon, Figment. And then, right next door, get ready to ride with a ragtag band of freedom fighters who may have lost the map, but come bearing a gift. One that will transform Angelica Houston from the xenomorph-type creature's suspended Supreme Leader to a thing of classic beauty. The Supreme Leader's foil is the voice and dance moves of Captain EO, performed to perfection by the late Michael Jackson in this 16-minute film, the most expensive film produced at the time, in collaboration with Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas. The music and the imagery live on today from this unique sci-fi fantasy that broke the mold for theme park attractions with its Amazeballs 3D in 1986. With that, we've come to the end of our tour, the Tour of the Stars homes. Well, their Disney World theme park homes, that is. Catch us next time when we star search all over again, searching for stars hiding behind the voices of some of the most memorable attraction characters. We'll see just how many surprise you then. Give me a like for gosh sakes and click subscribe. You won't be sorry. Come back to PopCon, your connection to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. Oh, now it's time to check out another great PopCon show like this one. Share with me any surprises or those I might have forgotten in the comments. And until next time.